I think one of the reasons we often don't recognize modern miracles is because in real life, the timing seems off. The St. Luke's Learning Pod didn't blossom overnight. It took what felt like forever to get off the ground, each week feeling like an eternity, because we knew that kids were trapped behind screens, alone, losing ground. When we first started, we were given the gift of 2 solid volunteers and 1 on-the-ground staff member. I felt like the disciples in the feeding of the 5,000. 2 volunteers, Jesus, 1 staff member. We can't feed all these people with this. At that time, we could only offer the pod 2 days a week. But on the first day in early November, we gave thanks to God and said it was good anyway. The kids asked if they could come every day. This past week was the 3rd full week that the Learning Pod has been in operation 5 days a week, with now 20 students, 4 staff members, and 2 volunteers. The kids get breakfast, lunch, snacks, support for their learning, and social time, in masks, but also, more importantly, in person. I was congratulating one student on his good grades when I saw him on Tuesday, and he surprised me, shocked me, put me in a state of awe when he said back quickly, "Thanks to this place." A small miracle of uninvited thanksgiving, a small glimpse of transformation. One commentary on demon possession says the most important thing to connect with in this gospel story is that this person is being rescued from an impossible bondage. That is what it feels like to have a bad spirit, a demon. This is what we hear from people who are themselves feeling gripped by and then freed from addictions. I couldn't shake this language from my head as I talked over the Learning Pod with other staff and students about their experience. Over and over, I heard from the staff these sorts of things. I just see so clearly that at home, alone with their computers, without movement, without connection, learning would be impossible. Another said it's hard to keep them on task with their learning, but we can do it. But at home, on their own, it would be impossible. Do you hear it? This is the work of rescuing kids from impossible bondage, impossible requirements of them on their own. Now, I'm not saying online learning is a demon. It was the best we could do, especially early in the pandemic. But anyone who has been close to it knows that it brings with it plenty of bad spirits. One teen, whom I've known and watched grow at St. Luke's for the past few years, spoke softly about the difference between before and after the Learning Pod. Before, she said, I was just in my bed all day. I would stay up late and sleep in late. It's just so good to get out of the house. Now, she said, I go to bed early and get up early. When I congratulated her on her recent good grades, she said, "Thank you," then paused and smiled. I even turn my camera on now, she said. Her beautiful glance struck my heart with awe. The image of God in her, not hidden, not obscured in darkness and isolation in her bedroom, but felt, known, seen. Camera clicked on. The voices that say God has nothing to do with her, silenced. Get out, Jesus commands. the shadows flee. We stand, we sit, we participate with awe and gratitude. We see the wonders of this gospel and of Psalm 111 anew. We are amazed. We try to follow. And so we might live to see another miracle. If our hearts are not hardened, if we can look upon what God has already given us and done amongst us with awe.